Fairy stories my children love best of all. Chapter 6, Mary's Baby Brother. Once upon a time a peasant lived on the plains of Hungary with his wife and two children, a little girl and a baby boy. One day he and his wife were getting ready to go to the market to sell some cows. The mother said to her little girl, "Mary, we are going to the market. I hope you will be a very good girl while we are away. You must look after your little brother and see that he eats a good dinner. Then you can take him into the garden to have a game. But be sure you do not go out into the road." Then the peasants kissed their children and went off with the cows. After dinner, Mary played for some time in the garden with her little brother. Soon she saw some of the village children racing in the road, so she got up and watched them. Then she thought, "Surely no harm would be done if I went and joined in the game just for a few minutes." Off she ran into the road, though she knew well that it was very naughty of her. While she was playing with her friends, she saw some cranes fly into the garden. Now it is said that these big birds sometimes steal babies, so when Mary saw them enter the garden, she ran back to look after her brother, but he was nowhere to be found. Mary sat down and cried and cried and cried. She knew now that the wicked cranes had flown away with the baby. "Oh, what will my father and mother say?" she cried. "Why was I so careless as to leave poor little baby all alone?" She got up at last and ran across the fields as fast as her legs could carry her. She hoped that she would be able to find the cranes and take her little brother away from them. Soon she came to a meadow, and there she saw an oven with 6 cakes baking in it. The oven called out, "Take out my cakes, take out my cakes, or else they will burn." Mary ran to the oven and took the cakes out one by one. Then she said to the oven, "Please, can you tell me where the cranes have flown with my baby brother?" "Yes," said the oven, "cross over the field and you will find a path. Keep straight along the path." Mary did as she was told, and before long she came to an apple tree full of apples. The apple tree called to her, "Shake me, shake me, my apples are far too ripe." So she shook the tree until the apples fell like rain. She kept on shaking until there were none left on the tree. Then she gathered the apples into a heap and said to the tree, "Please, apple tree, can you tell me where the cranes have flown with my little brother?" "Yes," said the tree. "Walk along by that stream over there until you meet an old horse. He is so wise that he knows everything. He is sure to be able to tell you." So Mary ran along by the side of the stream until she came to the wise old horse. "Dear old horse," she said, "will you please tell me where the cranes have flown with our baby?" "Yes, I will tell you," said the kind horse. "You must go through the hole in that rock over there. When you reach the other side, you will see a hut. There you will find your baby brother." "Oh, thank you," cried Mary. She ran through the hole in the rock, and when she reached the other side, she saw the queerest hut in the world. It was made of gingerbread, and it had a roof of sugar candy. In the hut she saw an old witch, and at the window sat her little brother playing with a golden ball. She ran to him and caught him in her arms. Then she rushed back through the hole in the rock as fast as she could go. When the old witch saw what had happened, she called the cranes and sent them after poor Mary. "If you do not bring me back the baby for my supper," she said to them, "I will tear you all to pieces." Mary soon saw the cranes flying after her, so she ran on faster than ever, though she was growing very tired. In time she came again to the apple tree. "Hide me, apple tree, hide me," she cried, "for the cranes are chasing me." "You helped me," said the apple tree. "Now I will help you." Then it covered her over with its leaves, and the cranes flew past without seeing her. After a while the little girl crept from under the leaves. She held the baby tightly in her arms and ran on, but the cranes soon saw her again and chased her. It was not long before she came to the oven. "Oh, hide me, please hide me," she said, "for the cranes are flying after me." "One good turn deserves another," said the oven. "Climb inside and shut the door." Mary was not slow at climbing in, you may be sure, and the cranes flew past without seeing her. When she thought that she was quite safe, she climbed out again, but the cranes saw her very soon and set off after her. I really do not know what would have happened if her house had not been quite near. Those wicked cranes beat her head with their wings, they pecked at her face, and they even tried to tear the baby out of her arms. But she kept tight hold of him, and at last she ran safely through the door of the house. At once she put the baby down on the rug and closed the door and all the windows. The cranes flew round and round, screaming with rage, but they could not get in, and they had to fly away without the baby. When her father and mother came back from the market, Mary told them what had happened, and they were so pleased to have their little boy back safe and sound that they quite forgot to scold the girl. But Mary never forgot the lesson that the cranes had taught her. From that day she always did what her parents told her, and so she lived happily ever after. End of chapter 6.